Greetings and welcome back to Cowlitz River Restoration. This is Sarah and I'm going to talk to you about how I'm going to sand this down and apply some butcher block oil to the top of this cart. So start by wearing the proper headgear, wear a face mask. I started by sanding this down with a 150 grit to break free any of that previous finish, because a long time ago I had refinished the top of this and I didn't do it well. It was one of my first attempts and I didn't use a food grade product either. I don't even think I sealed it. So I'm sanding that all completely off down to the bare wood with the 150. Then I went over it again with a 320 to get it really smooth. Now I did go over it with the 320 more than once. I did it once with my orbital sander, and then I went back through and sanded it again by hand that you will see. I cleaned off the bottom. I just sprayed it off because I love the bottom. I'm gonna leave it the way it is. So I just wanted to clean it. I'm gonna clean up the front drawer, wipe that down so that I have a clean slate to paint it. And then of course I've got to clean all the grit off of the top of the butcher block before I bring it into the house. I removed the knobs. When I removed the knobs, I noticed that there was an area that needed some putty because there was some chipping. So I used plastic wood and just applied that with my finger and then let it dry. Once it's dry, you can sand it down. I used a light grit. I think I used a 220 and sanded that down. And then, like I said, I went over the butcher block one more time just to make sure it was really smooth before I apply my oil. I also went through and cleaned the base again with a vinegar and water solution. You want to make sure that you have all the debris off before you put your oil on. I used Watco, I think that's how you pronounce it, butcher block oil. I put that on with a clean rag like the directions said, and I just applied that generously all over the whole thing. I mean, not so much that there was like standing oil on it. You want to make sure that it's absorbing, but I just got the whole thing fully saturated and then walked away. I freshened up the drawer with a mixture of chalkboard paint and a polyurethane that I had mixed up so that it will cover and seal at the same time. Then after 6 hours, I went back over to my butcher block. I sanded it with my 320 again, very lightly, wiped it all down, and then put more oil on it just to make sure that it is completely finished. I want it to be nice and sturdy and ready for its new home. Again, this product needs to dry for 6 hours before it's completely set. I did do a second coat of paint on the drawer to make sure that it was completely covered and completely freshened up and ready to go. I then put my hardware back on to the drawer. This is one of my favorite parts because it means that I'm about done. And this is my before. This is what it looked like before. When I got it, it did not have casters on it. I also want to add, so I added the casters on there. And this is the after. This was such a cool estate sale find. I put the casters on, I refinished the top, I painted the drawer, and I'm super pleased with how it turned out. I've got it listed in the marketplace. Thanks so much for checking it out. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.